And we are live. What's going on, everybody? This is another episode of Beyond the Badge with my co-host, my main man, John Steppe. And today we have a fantastic episode. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Hope everybody is doing well. Everybody is just focusing on their chicken and their mentals. And I'll get into what that means in a second. But y'all know what we do here. This is all about civil service. This is all about firefighters, medics, police, EMTs, you name it, secret assassins, whatever it is that you do that causes you mental health and stress. This is going to be a fantastic episode for you because the guest we have today, he is a 15-year firefighter and EMT from Texas. He is a host and founder of What Makes Us Fire Foundation and podcast. He is a huge, and I did I say huge mental health advocate, and he's blunt. He's as good as they come. He's going to give you the real. He's going to give you the raw. And I want y'all to just sit back and enjoy this episode. The one and only, my man, JQ. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, brother. Thank you. First, I want to say thank you to both yourself and John for inviting me on the show. Actually, I think it was John actually that reached out first due to our little social media platform that we use, a little thing called TikTok. I noticed Todd. I watched a few of his videos. Yeah, I know. Prince, you got to get on, bro.
He's a hater.
I know. Listen, I was told if you're black, stay away from TikTok. We're going to talk about
that. That is not freaking true.
Listen, I'm just telling you what I was told. Okay. All right.
Well, who the hell told you that?
Black people. Of course.
Oh, well, you talk. Maybe it's the wrong black people you talking to. There's a bunch of black people.
You're correct. Maybe you're correct.
Maybe. Anyway, John reached out to me. I didn't know John's real name until we started, corresponding via text message and everything. And he reached out because he saw a few of my videos. He saw my lives. He saw how raw I was. He saw how straight I was. And he liked what I was doing. I liked what he was doing. He invited me to come, or he said, let me talk to my boy, see about getting you on the podcast. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I love being a guest on a podcast because then I don't have to go back and do any of the editing. I don't have to do any of the setup. I can just come on and talk bullshit and just, thank God. It's a little bit of the weight is off my shoulders. You know what I mean? And the fact that you guys invited me on because you knew what I was about actually meant a lot to me because, well, I'm trying to get the name out there. I'm trying to kill the stigma. I'm trying to make the uncomfortable conversation normal. I mean, too often we're okay with sharing everything else about our lives, except for the times we're sad, except for the times we hate ourselves, except for the times when we feel worthless. Too often are we okay with sharing everything else but that. But the things that I just mentioned are just as human as the things that we share. Yeah. So why can't we share everything about ourselves that is human?
And let me share to the audience real quick how I came across Josh. So and what makes us fire. So if you watch the episodes, in October I got diagnosed with PTSD after a couple officer involved shootings, and I was hit rock bottom. I was crying out for help. I was desperate. I started making some PTSD awareness videos on my TikTok. My department didn't like that. They called me in, put me on admin leave immediately, and just cast me aside. No help. No, hey, you're done. We'll put you on admin leave. There's no communication from my department. So I watched one of the videos that Josh allowed me to share on my TikTok, and I believe I put it on my other platforms too. I was scrolling through. I found Josh, and it was one of the videos. And he's got a lot of videos like this that I love. But it was like, hey, buddy, how you doing? How's your family? Do you remember that one? Yep. It was so powerful. It almost brought me to tears. And I shared that with multiple people and said, that's the way the department, our police department or other departments, fire, medic, should be. And we don't have that at all. So it was so powerful. I reached out to him. It's probably October, November. And I was like, hey man, do you mind if I put this on this? put this on my TikTok. I don't want to copy his stuff, and I just want to share it with people because it was that powerful. And he allowed me to do that, and we kind of had a dialogue and doing lives back and forth. But we'll go into some detail about his organization and some of his personal experiences. We've all had them. Josh, they don't know. Blue was an officer involved shooting. He got another incident. He got hit by a car and critically injured. Got knocked him out. So we both suffer with PTSD and some mental health issues that, like you said, it's taboo to talk about. So that's why we got Josh out here. He's going to tell us a little bit about his organization and what he does.
And man, bravo for you for even letting people know how you feel about, one, what happened to you, two, how you feel about how your department is handling that situation or how people handle that situation, and three, just sharing your story in general, because too often we as civil service members, doesn't matter, male, female, doesn't matter, civil service members in general, military, first responders, we're told that we're supposed to be the heroes, right? Everybody looks at us as the heroes. And I made a video a little while back that I said, well, how the hell am I supposed to be a hero when I can't even stand the day-to-day? How am I supposed to do that when not only am I having this stress from the job, this incidents from the job, now I'm going to go home, and people don't realize that you can get PTSD not being on this job as well. We experience life stresses and life traumas outside the job that are just piled onto the things we do and see and hear and smell and touch when we're on the job.
And fire and medic, they go to the same calls we do. Sometimes, like my shooting in 16, they were there prior to us. So they see the same dead bodies, right? Who pronounces them? Fire and medic, right? Unless it's obvious we do. But they see the same trauma. They deal with the same stuff that we do. So we're all, we give the fire department a hard time. We have hockey games against each other and stuff. But we're all in this together. We're all brothers and sisters in what we do.
Oh, I'm definitely going to give you both some shit for being cops. But yeah, no, that's so, and it's kind of hard. Like, how do I roll into that with everything? You reached out to me on that video, and that video, it literally started with, "Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm. How you doing? The shit on the job, the shit you're seeing, how's that making you feel? How's it affecting you? How's it affecting your life? How's the family? How's the wife? How's the kids? How's the husband?" It's these questions that too often we hear, how you doing on the job, but we don't hear, how is it affecting you when you go home?
Yeah.
How's it affecting you, and how's it affecting your relationship? How's it affecting your relationship with your kids? How's it affecting your relationship with your friends? I mean, we don't even think, as first responders, how often do we think that we go out with our buddies who are not in the civil service? We go out with our buddies and we start sharing these stories. Do we even stop to think that maybe they're not prepared to hear the shit that we about to unload on them? We don't think about our friends like that. No, they're our friends, right? So we just think, hey, it's a friend. I can be comfortable. I can just let it all out. But I started realizing that all these people that are involved in our lives outside of the job are affected by how we react and act outside of the job as well. Yeah. I started the podcast in August, and the whole idea was to humanize the badge, but on the fire side, right? That was going to be the main thing. Humanize the badge on the fire side. There's a bunch of humanizing the badge podcasts and everything else out there for PD and PTSD awareness for military and stuff. And I was just seeing this whole mentality of firefighters are heroes, this and that, and this. There's this portrayal of who we are. And it's like, golly, I wish people did not look at us that way all the time, because that is a hard standard to live up to. That standard means do not fuck up. Doesn't matter who you are. If you do not fuck up, you're a hero. And it's like, well, we appreciate the sentiment. We do. Thank you for looking at us that way, but don't expect us to always be that. We're humans. We make mistakes. Perfect example. And the reason what really got me into it is around that time, New York City pulled victims out of a burning building. Well, the security camera caught footage of the firefighters pulling the victims out, and they were dragging them like they were taught to, like we are trained to keep them out of the smoke, to keep them low. And you drag them by the collar, you drag them by the wrist, the feet, any way to keep them low and out of the heat and smoke. But since the security camera caught this and nobody actually knows what the training is and why they were doing it that way, they started getting shit on by public opinion. Why couldn't have they done it this way? Why couldn't they done it that way?
There's the problem right there where I'm going to ask you because for a long time, like people like firefighters versus police, it's a friendly rivalry. But
oh, yeah, absolutely.
We also have this inside joke to where, you know, everybody loves the red truck. They love the fire hose. They love the ladder. They love everything that firefighters stand for, which they should, because like I said, I don't do hot stuff. So when I see y'all coming in, I'm happy as a little kid. I'm that 3-year-old. I'm like, man, look at that ladder. Wow, look how tall it's going. Oh my God, look at them with their oxygen tanks. They're about to do something, y'all. I forget that I'm the police and I'm supposed to be there.
It's not oxygen though, just a side note. It's just regular air.
But let me ask you this, Jay. Now that everything is publicly scrutinized now firefighters aren't even safe. Like you said, a video of you doing what you were trained, you're getting shit from the peanut gallery who doesn't know what the training is and why you're doing what you're doing. How does that make you feel?
It's a double-edged sword, right? So on one side, I'm pissed off. I'm angry. I'm upset because how dare you dog on these guys that are literally saving lives right in front of your face. But because it doesn't look good,
a burning building, you know?
Right. But because it doesn't look good, you're going to dog on them. But then on the other side of the coin, I like to play devil's advocate. On the other side of the coin, it's just the ignorance. And when I say ignorance, I'm not saying you're ignorant in a derogatory term. I'm using it for the definition. The ignorance, the lack of knowledge of, is why they had that opinion. And can I blame them for that?
I would say yes.
That's hard to say. That's hard to say because how often have you had an opinion about something with something that you don't know everything about? But you know just enough about.
I also hold myself accountable. If I say something stupid or I say something that I don't know something about, I hold myself accountable. See, what now people are doing is, and social media has allowed people to still be fire breathers, still be wrong, and they fucking double down on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it should be a new tactic. You shouldn't drag people out like that. What if they get hurt? Let me see. 3rd-degree burns or a little bit of scuff on your back or on your leg or a wrist bruise from me grabbing you.
I tell you what, I'll take a dislocated shoulder than being burnt alive.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
Thank you.
I've been to multiple structure fires, kicking in fucking doors. And I'm like, that shit's fucking hot. Thank God nobody was in there that had to go. But I've been on scenes where, you know, kids have been killed or people have been died in the fire. But there's no way to go in. So I always said, so the firefighters always equate, you know, like what the adrenaline that we get in a high-speed chase, right? Or something to a structure fire. So, but I'm not running in a fucking, I can't. I don't have the equipment and I don't have the willingness to run in a burning building. So these guys, and I was a cop during 9/11, and I remember the chills I would fucking get when the Charlotte Fire Department trucks were going by. They had the flags. I mean, dude, it gave me pride to be part of the city, to be part of the public safety. And the way that people looked at us, and like you brought up, Blue, and you've seen it, Blue. It doesn't matter if you're a fire medic. Now they all get shit on. We go in the neighborhood.
Oh, it's the same with us. It's the same with us. There's been stories of firefighters getting shot at. Yeah. We will be on scene, and you know it's an overdose or whatever, and they'll say, "Don't say shit to them. They're with the cops. Or don't say shit to them. This and that." And it's like, literally, we can't arrest you. 2, we're here because this person's not breathing. like, what the hell did you guys take? Well, we ain't gonna tell you. Okay, well, we can only do so much then if you're not gonna share with us.
Yeah, your friends
We're not
die.
here.
Good luck.
We're not. Yeah, your friend's gonna die because you're too scared to share with us what the hell's going on. Look, we're not. I'm just concerned. What do I need to do to make this person live? You're concerned because you don't want to go to jail. Some friend you are.
Let
You
me
know?
ask you this, Jay. When you we're going to really get into the nuts and bolts of the mental health aspect of it.
Let's do it.
Let me ask you this. When did you know? When was that moment, that call? We've all had it. That call, that incident, that time you may have been talking to somebody. When did you know something isn't right? Like, I'm not thinking like I need to think. Something is wrong. Can you share that?
I can share that, but I want to share something before that.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
And it was something I said a little bit earlier about how life and what we bring into the job can be a catalyst for that mental health issue as well, right? Obviously, I didn't start off a firefighter as soon as I was born. I became a firefighter at the age of 22. And before that, when I was younger, I was 6, 7 years old, walking home from school, and I was abducted, molested by a male and a female, thrown to the side of the road, and went home. During that time, my parents were going through a divorce, so I never said anything until I was about 18 years old. One, I didn't say anything because I didn't even realize what the hell happened to me. Two, I didn't even realize how lucky I got, if you can call that luck. But I was living with that my entire life up until I got into the fire service. So I was already dealing with some mental health stuff before I even knew I was dealing with some mental health stuff prior to getting into the fire service. I'm only able to talk about it like I'm talking about it now because I have done a shit ton of therapy. I am on mental health medication. I'm on ADHD medication. I see a psychiatrist. I see a therapist.
Yeah.
I practice, cognitive behavioral therapy. All that is recent. Okay. So my entire life, I was growing up and allowing this experience to kind of dictate a lot of my actions growing up. When I became a firefighter, the first call that really, really hit home, that I still have dreams at night. It's that question, right? When we're out with a group of friends, they're like, "Oh, you're a cop. Oh, you're a firefighter. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're military." Hey, what's the worst thing you've ever seen? What's the worst thing you've ever been to? And it's like, all right, I understand why they're asking this question. But what I like to do first is like, one, I'm going to explain to you what that question means to me. And then if you still want to know the answer, I'll talk to you about it. But that question, asking me what's the worst thing, you're asking me what's
the memories that just it's like
you're asking me to relive that one thing I've been trying to forget about. You're asking me to remember how I felt. You're asking me to remember the pictures, the smell, the touch. That's what you're asking me. Do you still want to know the answer? And I've had a couple people go, "Oh shit, I'm sorry. No, I'm good." And then I've had another couple people go, "You know what? Yeah, man. Tell me about it." And they want me to tell them about it because they feel like, you know what, this is a chance for him to kind of let it out. They're not asking me to be rude or crude or anything, but I always tell them this is what that question means to me. Now, if you ask me what's the most fucked up situation, what's the most funniest, what's the most craziest, those are different questions than what's the worst thing. The worst thing is the thing that haunts us. And the one that haunts me was an 8-year-old little boy. He was playing ninja. He had a plastic sword in his back. And he found his parents' gun, the 9mm. And as he was trying to play with it or put it in the back of his shirt like his sword, it went off. And working him and everything, he was still agonal. Like, the body was gone. I mean, like, the brain was gone. The body didn't know it yet. But we were working him. We worked him. And after all that was said and done, once he was life lighted away and everything, I looked down on my pants and I had fragments of his skull and brain matter on my pants. And that's the call that hit me the hardest because one, my kids were about the same age about that time. I live in Texas. So at the time, I had my CHL. I had a firearm in the house. I do not right now. And all I can think about was, and it's more than just the kid that got hurt. I mean, now, not only did we just work this kid, now we have the family.
Yeah. The screams,
Now
the
it's
agony,
the
and
mother, the father, the siblings, the aunts, the uncles. It's those blood curdling screams of how the fuck. And then you hear it all. You hear all the stages. There's blame now going on. There's anger. There's I can't believe this. There's just complete sadness. It's all these. Everybody knows the steps of, going through something tragic. There's anger, there's sadness, there's acceptance. Acceptance being like the final one. But all of those at one time. And then now you are even kind of, what could I have done? 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 Did I do enough? Was it enough? Well, yeah, it was, but it doesn't feel like it, right? It never feels like it, especially when they don't make it. You literally did everything by the book, even and some, and they still didn't make it. And then you start questioning yourself. Well, did I do enough? Yes, you did do enough. It's just the situation. Yeah, it was a losing situation no matter what you did. But it doesn't stop you from questioning yourself.
And then, and people don't understand, okay, that happens, right? And then the triggers, you see somebody that looks like that kid, or you smell, or, for me, I had a dad shoot his two kids in the head and then killed himself. And I remember the mom running down she was in a nightgown, just covered in blood of her kids, and that scream, just, and then, so if we watch a horror movie and I hear like a blood curdling scream, it immediately takes me back to that. So there's triggers that we all have that remind us of that. If it's a location, if it's a sound, if it's a thought.
So for me, and it sucks to say it, but the trigger was my own son. Every time I saw him, and I saw him every day I wasn't at work. So it was this constant reminder, and it's, the thing is that, when we talk about triggers, right? Especially when it comes to PTSD and when it comes to depression and anxiety and everything like that, that's associated with mental health illness. People, when they say triggers, they want to avoid them. They want to stay away from them. They want to, almost to a point where they set boundaries so strict that they don't even allow the people around them to be themselves because they're too afraid that they might say something that's going to trigger them. Mm-hmm. Right? That's not really fair to the people around you. That's not really fair to your loved ones, that they can't even say something that they've always talked about before because now it affects you a different way. Right? So what I'm about is I want to learn what those triggers are for myself. I want to be exposed to them because I cannot allow something that has nothing to do with what actually happened, because what actually happened is over. What happened is done. The reason why I'm triggered is because the emotion is sticking with me. I carried the emotion and I didn't allow it to stay with the action. I am carrying how it made me feel and associating it with everything that was not that thing. And
was there a debrief, like when you guys had critical incidents? Nothing.
No,
So-
there was no there was no schism. There now that's something to be talked about too, is how departments are handling things like that, right? A lot of the times it'll be just a call from your lieutenant or your chief, just be like, "Hey, you good? All right, cool. If you need anything,
you of course you say, "Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah,
Right.
don't worry."
Yeah.
You got that? You got that?
Yeah.
Well, good for
That's
you.
more than most. But then, so you go back. What people don't understand, you deal with that shit. You go back to the station house, and then you get a damn drunk guy who wants PDs out with, and they want to go to the fucking hospital, right? So they dispatch fire to go check them out. And then so you just dealt with one of the worst things that anyone could deal with, and then it's back to normal, back to the next call, and you're expected to forget about it and keep trucking on.
Well, it's not even forget about it though, right? Because that human brain doesn't work that way. We're not going to forget about it, but what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to say it can't affect us right now. Hey, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, I want spaghetti. Really? And then you look at that plate of spaghetti and you're like,
yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, like what the fuck? And
so for me, it's just that I was just recently diagnosed with bipolar. So I've been going through most of my life with these extreme ups and downs, and then it really starts putting a lot of things in perspective for me, because you start thinking about that people don't understand when you get your diagnosis, you start going back trying to figure out, did I do this because of this? Was this because of that? If I would have did this differently, would this have been a different outcome? So for me, I immediately start thinking about everything that has happened to me in the past, and how could I have changed that? And you go through these things, but you're taught that it's the job. You have to put the job first. Like, people say cute things in the academy and in them little mandatory meetings where they say your mental health is very important. If you need anything, my door is open. Okay, how about this, Sarge? I want to personally fuck the next person up that says something out of line to me.
Yeah.
Now what? He's going to say, give me your gun, give me your badge, go home.
Yep.
So tell me, how open is your office?
Yep. And that's the thing, right? Because what is it again? Ignorance. Ignorance about mental health. Look, we can deal with depression. We can deal with anxiety. We can deal with PTSD and still do the job. Can those things be debilitating? Can they actually be a hindrance in the job? Yes, absolutely they can. But if you are taking the steps to better yourself, whether it be therapy, medications, counseling, those things can help you continue living a normal life. I have depression. I still have happy moments. I still have good time.
And that's what you should be ashamed of,
No, absolutely not. No. I can have depression and still have a good time. I can still be a happy person, but it doesn't mean I'm always going to be happy, because my depression, when it kicks in, it fucking kicks my ass. It kicks my ass. But that doesn't mean I can't do the job. It doesn't mean I can't still be a good husband, father, friend, right? It just means that I'm battling with a mental health issue. Let me ask you something. And I like to use this analogy. When you have a broken arm, right? If you don't do anything with it and you just leave it broken, are you going to be able to do anything? Are you going to be able to help your buddies move? No, you're not going to be able to do anything like that, right? No. But if you go and you get it taken care of, you go get it set, you go get surgery, you put a cast on it, you get healed up, go through therapy, get it strong again, you're that person now that can help. It's the same thing with mental health. It's just your brain, because mental health is biological, everybody. For everybody that thinks that emotion are these feelings that come out of thin air, no, it's not the way it works. It's chemicals that are released in your brain that have you feel a certain way. Guess what? Science shows that we have this really cool thing called neuroplasticity, which means through therapy, through medication, You can actually rewire your brain with work. So just like getting surgery for that broken arm, just like getting set, just like going through therapy, it's the same thing with your head. It's biological. It's chemicals. We can learn how to slow down that chemical release. We can learn how to make sure we start thinking right in certain situations again. It's possible.
But Josh, hold on. When people say, "Hey, man, just pop a pill and chill out," it's not that fucking easy. It's a reason why they say. Go ahead. It's a reason why they say medicine, therapy. They say combined. It's not a magic pill you just pop and you're like, oh man, I'm good. I'm good now. I don't want to. I don't want to body slam you or climb a clock tower anymore.
No. Look here. Mental health medication is a regimen. And if anybody knows what a regimen, think of a workout regimen. If you're trying to become a bodybuilder, if you're trying to lose weight, a regimen is something you got to stick with to make sure you get the results that you're looking for, right? So a regimen, when it comes to mental health, medication is part of that regimen. Just like when you're working out, diet, exercise, weight training, all those different little things are part of your regimen. Just like with mental health, medication, therapy, counseling, cognitive behavioral therapies, all those are little things in your mental health regimen, right? Medication itself is scary, right? It's scary because it can take somebody 10 different medications to finally find the medication that works. And during that time, you are putting your body and your mind through a fucking kaleidoscope of different chemicals that are having your brain fire now in a way it's never fired before. And we have these things called, and it's a very popular term called the zombie phase when it comes to mental health medication. Yeah. And that zombie phase scares a lot of people because it makes you feel nothing. You don't feel sad. You don't feel happy. You don't feel horny. You don't feel angry.
Wait, whoa, hold on.
Nothing.
Hold on.
I'm dead serious. Hey, mental health medication has that effect. I'm telling you, it happens. There's nothing wrong with it.
That. Don't give me that pill, please.
You're not horny? You don't get horny? Wait,
I'm horny right now.
Hold on a second. Time out.
Right now.
Hey, this is a good time to bring out. All right. Blue, is it true or not true that you joined a senior swinging group?
Hold on. Stop it. Okay, I know where you're going with this. Listen, everybody knows I'm an avid bowler. So any bowling league, I'm there. It just happens to be that my bowling league's name is Swinging Seniors. But listen, the average age is 80, and they ain't swinging nothing.
That's your thing. Hey, if that's your thing, man, I ain't saying nothing to you. If your wife's good with it, I ain't got a problem with it.
My wife loves that I'm a swinger.
Upside down pineapple, y'all. Upside down pineapple. I'm gonna come to Blue's house. He's gonna have an upside down pineapple on his front porch. I'm gonna be like, it's more than just bowling.
Blue. How do you now? So once you got the diagnosis for bipolar, a lot of people don't know that about you. Did it help you to have a label? Like be like, okay, well that's what's fucked up about me. Did you? I would say fucked up, but like you knew something was wrong.
I struggle with it because you don't want a label. And then naturally, you don't want to use that label as a crutch. Oh, okay, well, I'm moody today. Well, I just spazzed on my wife. But I spazzed on her because guess what? I'm bipolar. So I can spaz on her. I didn't want to do that. But I did want it for me so I can get the necessary help that I need.
A lot of people don't know, Blue. What does your wife do?
She's a licensed clinical therapist and social worker.
Not a coincidence.
Yeah.
I want to speak on that, Blue.
Go ahead, Jay.
The fact that you were aware that you didn't want to do that, to use it as a crutch, means that you wouldn't have. All right. You were aware of that. Okay. So being able to get that label put on it was a little bit different for me. I was like, okay, Google time. Like, here we go. Now I can learn and start figuring out what the hell I need to do to make myself better. And is it a crutch at times? If you allow it to be. Now,
you're right.
Now, if I have a depressive episode, an anxiety attack, if I get a PTSD episode, which actually falls into the whole depressive episode, really, it allows me to explain to people that it's not them. It's not the situation that they caused. So it's not so much a crutch as much as it is an explanation.
And
right? So when you do have those episodes, you don't have to say it's because of my bipolar disorder, so back off. You can say, hey, look, I apologize. I think I'm having an episode. And now, instead of using it as a crutch, you're using it as an explanation so they can understand and help you through it. Or you can understand and help yourself through it. Sometimes, a lot of the times, when we tell people what's going on with ourselves, what's the first thing a lot of our loved ones want to do? They want to fix the situation right off the bat, right?
Absolutely.
You tell them what's wrong and they're just like, well, what can I do? Well, what can I do? Well, what can I do? And it's like, well, really, you can't do anything, right? But if you just sit and listen and let me explain to you why, that's all I need. I need you to understand why. If you can understand why and allow me to try to process through the way I need to process through it, it's an explanation. It's not a crutch. It's not an excuse for my actions. It's an explanation of my actions. I'm letting you know I was acting this way because of this reason. Now, if you go off on your wife and then you go, oh, that was just a bipolar episode, and then you continue doing it, that's a crutch. You are not, one, you're not being healthy for yourself, first and foremost. But two, you're not being healthy for anybody else. And you're giving a bad name to mental health and for people that are actually trying to get better. So the fact that you were able to recognize that you didn't want to use it as a crutch tells me that you actually recognized it as an explanation and not as a crutch. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense, man. You're saying everything that my wife says, except you're not as good looking as her. So it makes perfect sense, man.
But does it help that you're married to a clinical psychologist
Listen, people want to say it helps. Yeah and no, because sometimes I need her to be my wife, and sometimes she's psychoanalyzing me or using her numerous degrees on trying to figure out something that's like it can be as simple as me laying in the bed watching TV, and she's like, "Why are you still in the bed?" I'm like, "Cause I just want to watch TV." But this isn't normally like you. You're normally up by this time. Well, maybe today I just want to chill out in the bed, watch TV.
Maybe mind your own business. No.
That's
not a word.
Here's again. This is gonna go into something up, man. You guys keep hitting on things that I can talk forever about, right? Yeah. When it comes to mental health, and especially when we have people in our lives, spouses especially.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about
it's the C word. Communication.
How did it affect you and your relationship?
Oh, man. All right, here we go. So I was saying earlier, I started the podcast in August, and it turned into mental health awareness because I had a depressive episode on September 20th. It was a Sunday. And for whatever reason, we were having an argument, and it was by no fault of hers. It was just my depression it for lack of a better term, it popped. And I put a gun to my head in front of her. And I didn't know how to explain it to her that it was not her, it was me. This is all me. This is me. This is me. This is me. I don't know what it is in my head. I don't know why I'm doing this. It was this thing that just happened.
Was this before counseling or?
I was in some counseling, but it wasn't with the therapist that I'm with now.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with major depression right after that. I went and I was just like, I need to do something. That was that day when I realized there is something really wrong with me. I found out there was something wrong with me like about a year or so before. I knew there was something up, and it just progressively got worse until that day. That day, it was just boom. And
Wow.
It was a trauma experience for her as well, right? And I can't blame her for her looking at it that way, for her experiencing that way. You know, a lot of people are like, well, she should have consoled you. She should have been there for you. Well, no, she shouldn't have done anything that she should have felt for herself. Just like I was doing what I felt I needed to do, she reacted the way she felt like she needed to react. There is no right or wrong way to react when you're associated with an episode like that. And I don't blame her at all for it. It's not her fault. She's reacting to a trauma she was exposed to because of my lack of being able to work through my depression. And so from that point, I started getting help. I left the house for about 3 weeks. Went and started to get help. We started counseling. She was afraid of me. She was afraid of me, and I was afraid of me. I was afraid of me. And things started getting a little better, but I still wasn't good. And about 2 months ago, I had another slip with my depression. And
What happened? Uh-oh. Hold on, everybody. Jay has dropped off. I don't know what happened. That's technology. There he is. He's back, everybody. They don't want you to tell your story, man.
Apparently, I don't know what happened.
Go ahead, buddy.
But about 2 months ago, I had another slip with my depression, and ever since I was young, I always went to self-harm. And what I ended up doing was I cut myself.
Sure.
And that was another thing that as soon as it happened, I was like, son of a bitch, what did I do? Why did I do this? You know how people have intrusive thoughts? They start thinking these horrible things about themselves. They start thinking these horrible things about life. It's just, and then it's intrusive thought comes out of nowhere. For me, when doing stuff like that, it's like an intrusive action. And it's like I see it happening, but I can't stop it. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
It makes perfect sense, Jay. But first of all, I agree with everybody here. Thank you for sharing this, and we appreciate your vulnerability. But man, and this is what I want people to realize, and this is what I'm going to brag on this community. We've all talked about some traumatic events that to the mere mortal, I'm going to say mere mortal, they would crack. And Jay, you came close to that. But with all this going on, you've been a firefighter for 15 years. Steppe has been a police officer for over 20 years. Me for over a decade. But when we're in front of people and they're cussing us out and they're telling us, suck my dick and fuck you and all this, we have to be stoic. And if we just happen to curse during a traumatic event, which somebody's pointing a gun at us, or we're trying to get people back so we can give CPR to a victim, if we curse, that's a bad thing.
We get written up. You know, and we lost him.
He's coming back. Go ahead. He'll be back.
No, and how are we supposed to deal with that? Like, how do we go from, you know, in Josh's circumstances, dealing with an 8-year-old that accidentally shot himself, and he's getting brains off his uniform, to how do you go home? You don't tell your wife that. You don't go home and be like, oh, yeah, how was your day? Oh, well, yeah, some 8-year-old, you know, blasted himself on accident, and you know that I've never told my wife anything about kids. right? Because you don't want to. You just and Josh, the analogy I use a lot of times is almost like an iPhone, right? So see if you agree with this. Like you download, you have so much space on your iPhone. You download the apps. So the apps are the traumatic events. Well, at a certain point, there's no room left, and you have to deal with the apps. You have to decide which apps you want to delete, and you have to deal with them. And then things that you thought, hey, on Monday this shit happened. Well, Wednesday I forgot about it. And next thing you know, so many years later or whatever, that shit starts coming back in your, something happens and it regresses. So, but how do you deal with that?
Here's the thing.
Go ahead, Jay.
I'm going to it's a good analogy to an extent, and I don't want to disregard your analogy because I've always been if it's what works for you to help you explain what's going on within yourself and it's healthy, good. But with me, I've come to the realization that when that shit happens, there is no deleting. There is no forgetting about it, right? We think we forget about it because, guys made a joke, something crazy happened, whatever. But those apps never get deleted. Now, with an iPhone, sooner or later, that memory is going to get so full that, yeah, you do have to delete what you can and cannot use. But our brains don't work that way. Our brains aren't going to delete anything.
So shit you think you forget,
you don't.
It's still there. You could temporarily, all right, I'm on the next call, and you focus, but it's right. Driving by that intersection where that person got killed, or it's driving, or hearing their scream on a movie, or their smell of leaves burning to bring. There's so much stuff that brings it back, and if you don't,
and that goes back to the triggers. That goes back to the triggers, right?
If you don't get help, there's nothing. The problem is with at least police department and probably the medic guys and fire too, it's taboo to say, "Hey, time out. I need help," because then they're like, "Oh, well, you're broken," or like with me, all right. I'm like, I need help. I'm hit rock bottom. I need help, and they're like, "All right, well, give us your badge and gun. We're taking you home, and good riddance." Right? So, what? That's a good question. Josh? What are some of the warning signs that did you ignore any, or were there any that you saw coming along that were accumulating that you're like, "Hey, I'm fine," and just try to push them back? Or tell us a little bit of that.
That's for the families to be on the lookout for. What warning signs can your family look out for to make sure that you're okay or you need help?
So that's the thing, right? Even if your family does recognize all the warning signs in the world and they tell you, that doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter. Because it's going to be up to you to heed their warnings, and then you have to want to change. You have to want to get the help. Everybody can tell you, hey, we see this, we see that, we notice this, we notice that. Hey, you're acting different. Hey, why are you like this? Hey, we've noticed that. Okay. And just like Blue said earlier, maybe it's just because I want to be like this day. Maybe I just want to feel like this day. Instead of saying, you know what? Yeah, something is wrong. Yes, maybe I do need help. So yeah, there are warning signs. Absolutely, there are telltale warning signs, right? Oversleeping, not sleeping enough, becoming physically tired nonstop. These are all physical things that you can see, right? Being physically tired quicker, having anxiety to the point where it's almost like they just took a bump of
Lost him again.
Jay will be back. It's just something weird. I appreciate everybody hanging in there. This is technology, people, and this is live. So I appreciate you guys hanging on. Jay's back with us now. Go ahead, Jay.
Sorry, I am so sorry about that, yo. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Don't apologize, Jay. It happens, man.
Yeah.
It happens. We're at the mercy of technology.
Right. So yeah, these are all those physical signs, right? The high anxiety, the high stress, the not sleeping,
The anger,
the headaches,
the
anger, the sadness, the being completely silent, not laughing at the same jokes, laughing at jokes that are a little bit too dark that you've never laughed at before. There's a multitude of things that just change. It's basically a acknowledgement of behavioral change, that something is going on.
And what should they do when they start?
And the best thing to do,
yeah.
When the best thing to do really is be like, hey, instead of attacking and being, hey, you're acting weird, why are you acting this way? Instead of accusing, instead of saying, hey, you're acting like an asshole, why are you acting like an asshole all of a sudden?
Yeah.
There are tactful ways to bring it up. The one way that probably would have helped me the most is, hey, I need to talk to you. I don't want you to feel like I'm attacking you, but I've noticed some changes. And they just don't seem like they're you. Have you noticed those changes? Have you noticed anything different about yourself? Allow that person to process and recognize and take a look within themselves to see what they're talking about.
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
I would come home after a bad night and just nitpick. There's lint on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
There's an empty water bottle on the counter. What the fuck is going? It just hyper focus on, and literally I'd get home at midnight and start raising hell and cleaning out, like sweeping, and I want everything perfect, right? So, because you can't deal with what you've experienced.
What you're experiencing, what you're describing is actually a phase of depression where you are not acknowledging. You want to acknowledge everything that you can control because there's a part of you that you can't.
Yeah,
it's actually a very common phase when it comes to depression. We want to start controlling the things we can because we can't control what's going on up here in our heads. Yeah. So if there's a water bottle left out, well, why couldn't that water bottle be put away? That's something I can control. That's something that I can get somebody else to do to take care of. Take care of it. We get caught in the things that we feel like we should have control in. And what happens is if that doesn't get put in check, you start pushing people away. It's called the self-sabotaging phase of depression.
Sure.
Where you start self-sabotaging your relationships and yourself and your thought processes and your thinking because you want to control everything else except for the thing that actually needs to be taken control of, and that's yourself. And we start self-sabotaging, unknowingly self-sabotaging. We start nitpicking at our spouse, nitpicking at the small things. We start saying, well, you should change this, you should change that. There's nothing wrong with me. Well, yeah, there is. You're just not changing what's wrong with you. You want to change everything else around you. You want everything else around you to be working and not actually working on you. Yeah. Because we don't know how to do that just yet.
I mean, that's pretty powerful.
We don't want to acknowledge it just
yet. Blue, what do you think about? That's hit the nail on the head, dude.
Everything he's saying is spot on. It's just that when you're dealing with different humans, different mental health issues, and everybody being, it's cheesy, but everybody being different, there's so many dynamics. Mental health is so dynamic. Like you said, like just looking at a plate of spaghetti can be a trigger for something.
Right.
And how can Kelly supposed to know?
For me, it's diced tomatoes. Like I can't see diced tomatoes poured out just brings back brains pouring out of somebody's head,
Well, and that's and you hit the nail on the head, John. Like Look, you cannot say because I experienced this, it's going to be the same experience for everyone else when it comes to mental health, right? That's the only difference. Like when somebody breaks, that's the thing about mental health and treatments and everything. When somebody breaks an arm, there's pretty much a generalized for everybody. If me and you broke our arms in the same exact space, there's a generalized treatment plan and, you know, healing phase and everything else. It's very generalized. It's very by the book. Everybody's pretty much going to go through the same exact thing, right? But when it comes to mental health, holy fuck.
Yeah. There
is no one generalized way to make it work. The only generalized way is therapy. But just because what I do in my therapy, we can both have depression, right? But what works for me and overcoming that depression doesn't necessarily is going to work for you, because guess what? Our chemicals are different. Our brain chemicals are different. Our treatment process is going to be different. Me and you might need different medications to treat depression. It's the same disease, but we're being treated differently for it.
And then, so the problem I always had was like say me and Blue are on a call. We work together in a high crime area. So we say me and Blue went a call and we experienced the same incident, and that might bother me and not him. And then what I always felt guilty about was, hey, my partner, when I was in the district with him before I got promoted, was a multi-12 combat tour veteran of all, you know, killed. I mean, just the square away Marine dude you think about. And I'm like, if he's done all of that, how could I tell him that I'm bothered by what I'm seeing if he's handling it so well? And is he truly handling it well, or is it a persona that you learn behavior of your guys that were on your truck with that 8-year-old boy? They handle it differently, right? So, but there's no way in hell, unless you're a psychopath, to go to that call and deal with that and not be bothered, you know. And
but
so
Jay, in a way, we all make that joke. We all make that joke that to be a police officer, to be a medic, to be an MT, to be a ranger, to be whatever dangerous, there has to be a level. You have to be a bit touched to do it, because you're going against human nature, which is what one of them is, what, self-perseverance. So when Jay,
self-preservation,
for you, Jay, self-preservation. When you are running into a burning building, is that normal?
No,
absolutely not.
You're supposed to
but here's
save
the thing.
yourself. When you're going to a firefight, you're supposed to save yourself.
Right. Here's the thing about that. And I explain it this way. When it comes to the jobs that we do, we are no different than the average person. We are normal people that chose to do an abnormal job.
True. Yeah.
We choose to expose ourselves to things that the human mind was never meant to actually comprehend on a day-to-day basis. I like to say, as a human being, we might go through, in our personal lives outside the job, we might go through maybe 2 to 3 huge life tragedies that we consider life tragedies, like huge life tragedies in our lifetime. But in the job, we become a part of a tragedy story 3 to 4 times a day, 6 to 7 times a day. It's not our tragedy, but we become a part of that story. We remember the smells. We remember the sounds. We remember the feeling. Remember the getting hurt, crawling through the broken glass. We become a part of that tragedy story. Yes, it's not our tragedy, but we become a part of the story. So we are affected by it. Maybe not to the point that that person and or direct family members affected, but we are affected.
And how many people know what it's like to look at somebody and watch their life leave their eyes? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
And,
and
you want to talk about that? You want to talk about having somebody on the gurney you were literally just bullshitting with, having a joke, and all of a sudden they're in cardiac arrest.
Yeah,
they're in cardiac arrest, and now you're pumping on their chest. You get to the hospital and they don't make it, and you literally were just laughing with this person. They called you because their chest hurt, but en route they go into cardiac arrest.
It's one of the hardest things to do ever is to, you touched on earlier about, I call it dead man breath, abdominal breathing. That person's dying. You're looking at them and saying, "Hey, you're going to be okay." And they're not. They're dying. And you look at them in the eye, and at a certain point, they know they're dying. And what always fucked me up was you could see their eyes change when they knew they were dying. And you sit there and watch them, and you watch them die, and it goes from, to nothing, and then. I mean, how do you deal with? I mean, you don't deal with that. I mean, that's pretty fucking traumatic, man. People.
We are normal human beings. Just because you're a cop, just because I'm a firefighter, just because it's a military member, you are a normal human being. You are going to experience and feel those feelings just like anybody else would. That's it. You are no better than anybody else that would be exposed to that situation.
Other than we're expected to have
We're expected to.
Yeah, but that shit affects you, dude.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
You know what? But to answer your question, Jay, you know how we handle stuff like that? Because we have things like this. We have this platform, which is our Beyond the Badge, Behind the Badge podcast. And then we have What Makes Us Fire, which Jay, you started, and it's doing very well, and it's doing phenomenal. Can you talk about that and the mission statement on your website, which I thought was pretty powerful?
Yeah.
And you included pretty much everybody under the umbrella, because you could have just said first responder, civil service, and ended it, but you made sure to name specific jobs, to give them names, to give those certain occupations their just due and their avenue to help with their mental health. Can you talk about your foundation and
absolutely,
what you're doing?
Shout out to Angelia for being able to say that. Angela Brendan Alvarez.
Huge shout out for being able to share that. That's the thing. You being able to share that and you just putting that out there for other people to see. You're killing the stigma right now. You're helping in killing the stigma that is talking about mental health and letting people know where you're at. So that's huge. You're not falling in line. You're not doing what everybody else does and trying to hide it. You're fighting against the grain. You're fighting against the norm by doing that. And that's huge. And I wanted to say something with Miss Ann Steppe. We need to normalize it's okay to not be okay. Yes, real quick. It is okay to not be okay. But there's a second part to that. It's not okay to stay there.
Yes.
All right. You need to start. You need to recognize and say, it's okay to not be okay. I'm not okay right now. Recognize it, process it, have the thoughts, have the feelings. Those things are okay to have, but don't stay there. Start the process, start the conversation, and work through it.
And we're going to have an episode soon where we have the wives of police officers,
EMTs, whatever you name it, all the first responder community wives.
The wives will be on here, and we'll get the wives' side of the story about how they deal with shit, right? So I mean, there's no way to be a police officer, medic, fire, military, public safety wife without having traumatic experience. So it's like Josh said earlier, we kind of push our shit on them, right? So in an upcoming episode, we'll have the wives on and tell their stories about, hey, what's it like to go and knock on the door and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, your husband was involved in a shooting, his partner got shot. And how do they deal with that? Or Blue, how did they tell your wife that you got hit by a fucking car and you're fucking knocked out? Because,
that's funny you said that. I actually have 2 wives of firefighters on my podcast already.
Wait, I thought you said I have 2 wives. I was about to say
no. I don't have 2 wives.
Texas,
No,
not you.
They do that in Texas?
No, I am. Yeah, hey, Hey, I don't judge. You all don't judge me either. Even if I did have 2 wives. No, I'm going through a divorce, assholes.
Yeah.
And then you rebounded with 2 wives. All right.
Oh, hey,
all right.
I mean,
what
if
percentage
it's
of
gonna
that
work,
is due to the trauma of the job? What
Yep.
percentage would you rate that to?
Percentage of what?
Of the divorce.
The mental health aspect
Yes.
of your job to
Contributing to the divorce.
your marital issues.
I can tell you right now, I would give it a 95%.
Yeah.
As to why I am going through what I'm going through right now. But that's okay. It's okay. I still love her to death. I will do anything for her. It's just I am on a different path now. She's on a different path, and that's okay. It's okay. I understand.
I'm happy that you're not bitter. You're not,
And these motherfuckers,
great.
they don't realize what shit not only we go through, but our families go through. And that's why there's a divorce rate high in mental, because we bring this shit home. You don't get to vent to, well, you don't. It's taboo to the departments. Our department didn't do shit for us. One of the 4 pillars is officer wellness. They don't do shit. They didn't do shit for me. They cast me aside, and I went through all the process. He got medically retired after 21 years, and there wasn't thank you for your service. There wasn't anything. They cast me aside. Departments need to step the fuck up, and that's where Josh's organization. Tell us a little more, Josh.
Okay, so that's part of what we're trying to change to, and we're trying to. What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation, real quick. So our mission statement, the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation, is a foundation dedicated to helping our civil service members, be it military and or first responders, active, retired, and our veterans, and our volunteers. And the reason why I say and our volunteers, because if, believe it or not, 80+% of your first responders, firefighters in North America are volunteers.
That's phenomenal.
Okay.
Could you imagine volunteering for the shit you see in the trauma and the
no, don't get me started. But there's no real avenue for volunteers either. So that's what the nonprofit is for. Those are the people that we are going to serve.
Yeah.
And how we're going to serve them is we are going to make sure that if they want inpatient mental health treatment, i.e. they go to a facility and dedicate themselves to a program, the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation is going to make sure finances are not a deciding factor on whether or not they go and get that help that they are seeking. The reason why I created this nonprofit is because I had to make that decision. And you want to talk about feeling defeated all over again? You want to talk about finding this place that you think is going to help you, that you think is going to save you, that you think is going to pull you out of the shit, and just to realize that there's no fucking way that I can afford this.
Power of the every time he gets going and start preaching.
We need sponsors. So if you're out there, send us so we have a better platform so this doesn't happen. Nope. But we got you back.
There he is.
Am I back? Can you guys hear
me?
Yeah,
you're always back. You never left, buddy. You never
left. My God. This is pissing me off.
Don't
anyway,
worry. Hey, look,
you got dial-up over there in Texas or what, man?
Oh, man. Well, I'm living in an RV right now. So there's that.
So you got Y-Tree, not Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, I got Y.
RV you got?
I just got. Why the fuck is this happening right now? So we're gonna take care. Not only can I not afford the actual treatment, I couldn't afford not going to work. Most first responders work extra jobs. You know, cops, you work those EJs, you work the funerals, you work the security, you work, just for that extra paycheck on the side. Firefighters, we have different jobs. We have our own businesses. We work overtime nonstop just so we can provide for our family. Well, if I went to that mental health facility, I would not have been able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to afford to go.
It would be an option. Yeah, you wouldn't even.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
So what the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation is going to make sure that that does not play into a factor of you going to get that help. Your mortgage needs to be taken care of because you can't work that second job. We got you. Your car note, we got you. Your family needs groceries. We got them. We're going to take care of your family while you are taking care of yourself. That way, when you come out of that facility 100% better for you because you decided for you first, not for anybody else, but for yourself first, you come out of that facility and that program 100% better for you first so you can be that 100% better you for the family that you have and the community that you serve. On top of that, we're creating a peer support network. We're creating a mentorship program. And the mentorship program we hear a lot of when it comes to AA, when it comes to Narcotics Anonymous, NA. When it comes to usually substance abuse, usually they have a sponsor or a mentor. You don't hear that a lot when it comes with somebody that has depression or anxiety or PTSD. You don't really hear people having a sponsor or mentor, somebody that no matter what, they can call day or night and that person's going to answer. Well, we are providing that. And we are also creating a motivational speaking aspect of the nonprofit where people can purchase tickets where all proceeds go to the nonprofit, but they will be able to talk to people like ourselves, large creators like Officer Kingery, Jason Patton, Udi, Officer Scales, these huge social media presence that are in civil service to talk about their process, what they went through, and how they are helping kill the stigma for themselves and how they got better or are getting better. So, and the whole point is, one, to kill the stigma that is talking about mental health within the realm of civil service. Look, civil service members are 10 times more likely to develop a mental health disease than the general public. So that means for every one person in the general public that gets diagnosed with depression, there's 10 of us that gets diagnosed with depression.
And suicide, that comes along with suicide.
Suicide? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'll join back on, but I mean, we've all known officers who are people that committed suicide, and it's how do you shake the demons, man? I mean, a lot of people. He's coming back on, but
to what I see mainly from the type of organization that Josh is spearheading is it's allowing us to have an avenue outside of departments because we've given the departments ample opportunities to help us, and now we have to go to alternative means. And thanks to organizations like Josh and What Makes Us Fire, it's helping us out. And he's going to be with us shortly, everybody. He's having some technical difficulties, but that's one of the things that's going to help us out, because one thing you don't want is, and people think, yes, it's good to have people to talk with that are like you, but sometimes the worst thing that cops can talk to is cops. The worst person that firefighters can talk to is firefighters. The worst person that medics can talk to is medics, because you don't want it to turn into a, well, I hate them.
Fuck all those about you. What do we say? Fuck CMPD. Fuck our sergeant.
Right.
Fuck this.
And then you're like, okay, right. Fuck them. Now what?
You guys hear me?
What are you gonna do? Yeah,
we you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. Holy shit! I'm gonna throw this fucking computer out the goddamn window.
No,
hey, real quick.
Still need you.
Is it just me, or do you see my eyebrows?
No.
What eyebrows? Like,
yeah, I was looking. I was like,
you look like you're like a gamma ray experiment going wrong.
Blue,
Woody Harrelson, we do not see your eyebrows.
Blue, tell him what Josh said before we went live. Like, I swear to God,
he looked straight at Steppe, and he was like, "Has anybody ever told you look like Woody Harrelson?" I'm like, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I do his stunts and his sex scenes. I mean, not double. but no one's wrong to say that. So maybe
my wife said, "John, did you fall asleep at the pool again?"
I did.
What I was saying, I'm sorry. Sorry for switching away. No.
Go ahead, buddy.
Being in the civil service, I said the 10 times more likely to develop mental health disease, but being in the civil service, i.e. military first responder, we are killing ourselves 4 times more than the general public. Now, look, all suicides are horrible things that should not happen, but for every 1 suicide in the general public, there's 4 of us killing ourselves. I tell you what, if those numbers do not slow down, there's not going to be any civil service members.
No. And people are put in for this shit because, I mean,
hey, Bianca,
how do we address that? Is it making it the department's acknowledging that we're going to have problems and accepting and help us? Or is it us buddy checking and making sure that we're taking care,
And that's what I'm trying to do. So right now what What Makes Us Fire nonprofit's trying to doing is we are trying to reach out to departments and trying to convince them to allow us to come talk to their membership. Now, when it comes to city, it's a little bit different. However, a lot of the cities don't like to, how do you say this? When it comes to money, they're very picky.
With it.
They're very picky.
But let's spend the money on like bias training, like to
no, don't get me fucking started. Anyway, what I am trying to look for are municipalities that have unions. Now, say what you want about unions. I don't, that's beside the point. But the unions are separate from the city. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach out to a lot of different civil service unions and having them allow me to come talk about, 1, what Makes Us Fire is about. 2, yes, we need donors. All right. We're a baby nonprofit. We're only 5 months old.
How can they donate?
WhatMakesUsFire.
As soon as you ask for money, they cut you off. That's how they do you.
What do we go through CNN to get this shit done or what?
Soon as you ask for money, they cut you off. But Jay's gonna be back and we're gonna wrap it up because I don't want him to throw his laptop into the woods. So we're gonna get his information and everything, and then we're gonna wrap this up. And then trust me, people, this is not the end of the What Makes Us Fire.
We gotta have him back on. This is good shit, dude.
Yeah. Like I said, he's in the RV right now, so he's getting his internet and stuff.
He better double up on his medication because this shit was stressing me out.
I don't want him to take an axe to his laptop and just like sweat. Hey, Stacy Carter, how are you? Thank you, everybody, for Bianca's new. Please make sure y'all subscribe to the page and share this with your friends.
A powerful episode.
Tell them about it. Absolutely.
And Blue, tell them we have a logo coming out. We're gonna have a dedicated Facebook page.
We're fixing all this stuff. Yo, listen, we're 2 jamokes who were police officers. Now we're doing podcasts. So. You got to give us time to get all this stuff to you. Jay, listen, just breathe, buddy. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Double up on the man, man. Don't do it.
Bro. Oh my God. All right. So y'all need to find another platform that doesn't use a shit ton of bandwidth because apparently my RV Wi-Fi here fucking sucks. I did hear that you guys did want me back on, and that would be fucking amazing. Okay, real quick. So you could go to WhatMakesUsFire.com. Yeah, don't ask about money. Go to WhatMakesUsFire.com. You can learn a lot about what the nonprofit's about. There's a donate button. You can be a reoccurring donor, which would be amazing if you can. $1 a month, $2 a month, whatever. $5 every 2 weeks. Doesn't even matter. Or you can make a one-time donation. Every donation is a tax write-off. We are 503 with the state of Texas. We're waiting for the 501c3 to come back from the federal government, letting you know exactly what's going on. I am not going to lie to you at all. We also have a Cash App. If you use the money sign WMUF, all capitalized, leave your email so we can email you a receipt for your donation. Those are the ways that you can donate. Also, we have an online store at the WhatMakesUsFire.com. There's an online store All proceeds go to the What Makes Us Fire Foundation. I do not make a fucking dime out of everything and anything I do. The What Makes Us Fire podcast, if you're somebody that would like to sponsor the What Makes Us Fire podcast, any and all sponsorships and any type of revenue that comes from is actually tied to the nonprofit as well. I had the option to keep the podcast separate from the nonprofit. I had that option. I denied that option. When my lawyer asked me, hey, do you want to keep it separate or do you want to tie it to the nonprofit? Mind you, if you tie it to the nonprofit, any sponsorship, you're not going to make anything. And I said, nonprofit. If we get sponsorships, anything and everything goes to the nonprofit. We also just became part of the Everyday Heroes podcast network. So that is something else that you guys can actually go and check out as well. Follow them. Any and all sponsorships that they get can actually help the nonprofit as well. Look, we're a baby nonprofit. We're trying to make it to where we can at least help one person this year. And I did a lot of my research. Nonprofits, they'll be lucky. They'll be lucky to actually put money towards their mission in their first year. Yeah. I want to be more than lucky. Yeah. I want to put in the work. So coming onto podcasts like this, reaching out to people, I'm constantly on social media because right now that's all we can afford because guess what? It's free.
So we need to find out if somebody needs help. You know, I'm sure it'll tell us, like, how do they do if there's somebody that needs help? So wait, real quick too, I have to tell you that, do you know that Dr. Engler apparently left CNPD, which was a fucking disaster because he's the only guy who, other than HR, he's the only guy who I could go to and get help.
Did he leave or they told him to leave?
Well, apparently they posted a new position. So this is the way I understand. They posted a new position and said, hey, apply for it. He put in for it, and they hired somebody with 2 years experience and a master's degree. Well, Dr. Engler has been his resume. Yeah, he's got a doctorate. His resume, you know, he in the military, he's had combat experience. So, but what they want is somebody they could control and somebody they could have.
That's going to get along. It's going to do their bidding.
Yeah,
absolutely. I see it all. It's coming.
That's hard.
So,
and what makes us fire?
And your mentals, people.
What makes us fire is freaking awesome. If you could donate, if you have $1 to give it to them.
Please.
It's going to go to them. If you need help and you're somebody that needs help, reach out to him, send him a text or email. He'll come back on. Unless maybe he crashed his RV. I don't know. But he'll be on it and tell us, you know, his social media sites. Just Google What Makes Us Fire. Maybe it was a self-driving RV. I don't know.
Josh, come back, buddy.
But
he'll. Oh man, Oh man,
sweet.
It's okay. He's coming.
Should we give him
a? You fool. Oh God,
but he's good people. TikTok, What Makes Us Fire. Look at his videos; they're powerful. They'll move you to tears.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yo. I went to my phone. I'm using my phone. Fuck this. Oh my God.
You got dial up in fucking Texas, man. What the windows? We're working what?
This is fantastic.
Yo, I tell you what, y'all. I'm about to fucking break things.
Okay.
That's what Blue said. He said he's getting fucking fire exercise and crashing shit.
Oh Jay,
oh my God.
Without mentioning anything about money, because that seems to be when you go off.
Holy shit! It happened.
I swear.
Blue. What kind of fucking half
You literally, you said the word. You said the word. You said the word. You said the word.
What kind of operation we're running here, Blue?
Okay, without saying the M word.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Okay, Jay. Jay, listen. Listen, Jay.
Bro,
I swear, man, this has been so fantastic. And thank you for hanging in there and for all your tech issues. But
I am
man,
so
you
sorry,
are
y'all. I
awesome.
promise
But
you,
no,
it's usually
listen,
way better than this.
don't you fucking apologize to me. You're in a
He said
fucking RV. You
he's,
didn't have to do this.
he's
You could have
connected
said,
to Walmart's Wi-Fi, and
right. You're
Fucking
connected to
Walmart would have better
RV.
Wi-Fi than this.
Tell them where they can find you, Jay. Tell them
All right.
everybody where they can find
So
you, my
on
man.
social media, use the tag at What Makes Us Fire, all one word, no underscores or anything. Just at What Makes Us Fire on all the social media sites. Facebook, it's What Makes Us Fire Foundation. We also have a What Makes Us Fire page on Facebook. The What Makes Us Fire page, there is a space in between all the words. You can go follow us there as well. We have a Twitter, we have a Snapchat, we have a house party, we have an Instagram, and the one that I am on the most is TikTok. That one seems to be very, very popular for us. So if you want to share What Makes Us Fire, tag us in any videos, all videos are made to be duetted, all videos are made to be stitched. I do not block anybody from using any type of content that I create. A lot of the content I create is all one take stuff, because
it's
I
powerful
don't,
shit too.
yeah, I don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for here? I want it to be as real and as raw as possible because, like I said before, What Makes Us Fire is in the business of killing the stigma. We're in the business about making the uncomfortable conversation not so fucking uncomfortable because it doesn't need to be. All right?
It needs to be normalized.
Start the goddamn conversation because I am tired of losing brothers and sisters like you to something that we can start fighting. You are not alone in the fight. Yeah, you're going to be the one throwing the punches. Yeah, you're the one that has to make the changes. But when you are ready to take that break and you come to your corner, you're going to have people to help you look at your situation in a different perspective. And it's going to be on you to allow that other perspective and take the advice, take the perspectives, and make those changes.
And what advice would you give real quick to people getting in that's one that wants to serve and has for fire, medic, and police or military? That they have to mentally prepare for this shit. What can they do to prepare for this job? There's I don't know if there's anything you could do.
This is the one thing that I can tell somebody to prepare yourself to become part of this job. Work on your communication and work on being okay with letting people know where you're at mentally at all times and with whoever you need to let them know.
Yeah.
Whether it be the brothers and sisters you're on the truck with, your partner, your boss, your family, your kids, your aunts, your uncles, your friends. Mm-hmm. It's okay to let them know that you're not okay.
Yeah.
It is okay to let them know you are not okay. I'm going to say it one more time. It is fucking okay to let them know you're not okay. And you also need to make sure you let them know that you are not okay with staying there and that you are working on it.
Yeah.
You need to let people know where you're at all times. And I'm not talking about your physical location. I'm talking about your mental health location. Because it's going to be those people that when you're in your darkest times, it's going to be those people that actually give a shit and don't judge you. It's going to be them that are going to be the ones coming to save your ass.
Yeah, true.
You're right, man. I have nothing to add to that. But before, when I told people to take care of your chicken and your mentals, your chicken is your money, and your mentals is your mental health. Because Both of those are important, but your mental health is what makes you go and what makes you tick and what separates you from the guys you hear about that's climbing the clock tower and just taking out random people. I mean, I'm just giving you the real. Sometimes it's what is it going to take for these departments to wake the fuck up? Is it going to take a police officer, a firefighter, a medic, an EMT, anybody, a random person to stand up in the middle of a donut shop and just start firing off his weapon? It's we seem to want to really do a lot when tragedy hits. Instead of being proactive, we're reactive. So I'm telling you, it's going to come a time where an officer is just, he's not going to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And you could have helped him, or firefighter, or medic, or civil servant, or volunteer along the way. And you chose to ignore it because you just didn't want to deal with it because you felt like they were still showing up to work, so they're fine.
No,
So,
here's the thing.
Fix it.
We do not need to be, and if you're gonna be reactive, don't be reactive for just a short period fucking time. Too often we're only reactive. We're only reactive just for the public's eye.
The cameras, yeah.
The cameras. We're reactive
like when
for
I
a little
see
bit.
people, like Jay, when I see people doing podcasts with police officers and they're in their uniform, that burns me. And you know why it burns me? Because that very uniform that you have on is the reason why people can't stand your fucking guts. So why show up with it on? Look, people right now who are going to see this video, they're going to be like, who's this Jamoke on the left with the Sixers jersey on the Sixers hat? I'm a
I don't know,
retired
but
police
that's a
officer.
horrible fucking team too, by the way. Sorry.
Shut your face. We just won today. How about that?
Barely.
How about that?
Barely.
How about that?
Yeah, whatever.
How about that?
Whatever. Rockets on the way.
Don't
Sorry.
start.
Bird.
Don't start. but that's my main issue with it. It's like you gotta humanize this, and let people understand, where we're coming from.
Oh my god, I hate that term, humanize us. We're already fucking human.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're cyborgs.
No.
Yes.
We're already fucking human. There shouldn't be a humanizing the badge. There shouldn't be that term. That term should not fucking exist.
We're cyborgs. You can say what you want. We're cyborgs.
Whatever.
People expect us to be. So that's what they don't understand. If somebody comes up and spits in my face, I'm going to punch them in the fucking face. And then they're like, "Oh, he's not trained." I'm like, "Motherfucker, let somebody spit in your face and see what happens." I mean, we're human. We're going to react
on a day-to-day basis. If you're a human being and somebody walks up to you and goes, you're just going to be like, "I'm going to be calm."
Hey, and I will say I've seen the Charlotte Fire Department, which has a good fire department here. I've seen them put it on people that try to get stupid. So
all the firefighters, they love getting them stuff. They love getting them stuff. I just sit back like
I have thrown a patient down once or twice. I have thrown an irate bystander down once or twice. I ain't gonna lie to you. And when the cops show up and I'm holding them down, I'm like, they take them. I don't get in trouble.
Oh hell no!
Nope.
Oh hell no! We got your back.
Oh,
well, not even that. Again, I'm a human being first.
Yeah.
You can talk shit
whatever.
to me all fucking day.
You're
I can take some shit talk.
You're a cyborg.
What?
You're a cyborg with a red suit. You're a cyborg.
You know what we need to do? We need to work on killing this term humanizing the badge because one, we're already human.
Yeah.
We are already human. We are just normal human beings doing an abnormal job.
Who have a calling. We're still, Blue and I are out of the profession, and we still give a shit enough where we're still trying to help our people and bring awareness to stuff. So we give a lot of people in fire. How old were you when you decided you thought you wanted to be a firefighter?
That's the thing. It was if you go listen to the first episode of the podcast, I didn't grow up wanting to be a firefighter. It literally was happenstance.
Wow.
It was almost like I accidentally fell into it and then I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
You was hit with radioactive fire? Did you become a firefighter?
Yeah, that's what it was. I was burned with radioactive fire and all of a sudden I was a firefighter.
Oh
Hey,
man, but
real
ahead,
quick,
Jay.
before you sign off and everything, I know I actually took you over by about 30 minutes.
No, it's good. We're
Shit.
gonna have you back on, and we're gonna do a part 2 of this shit because
Who
we
gives a shit?
we got a shitload of stuff we got to cover with you, and your story, your personal story, is powerful. It
I
speaks
appreciate that.
to a lot of people, and you know, and I told you, your videos that you made had a direct impact on my mental health. So, and I got to the point where I was self-destructing. I hit rock bottom. I saw your video. You gave me hope. You gave me and you had a direct impact on my mental health. So I want to thank you, Josh, for doing what you do because you made a difference in my life. So.
And to that, I'm gonna say thank you for allowing me to be that for you.
Yeah, powerful shit.
And the reason why I say thank you for allowing that is because you made the choice to allow me to mean that to you, whether you're aware of it or not.
And if you didn't have the platform, if you didn't go do that, that's something missing from my life. That video, and I told you, was so powerful to me. It brought me to tears. I'm a grown fucking man. I've been in multiple shootings. You know, I've done, you know, the coolest, you know, police shit you could think of. But your video, and I'm like, how desperately would I want my department to ask those questions of me? And it's not there. And Blue could tell you the same fucking thing.
Well, I just know see you two white people show platonic love to each other. It's just fucking riveting. You know what I'm saying? So I just let y'all go.
Hey, wait, do you have hair?
I show love.
The hat on. Do you have hair? Are you bald or do you have hair?
Dude, come on, I'm bald.
See?
Hey, I show love to every fucking person, man. I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. When it comes to the job and being a human being, if you're a good human being, I don't give a shit what you look like, where you come from, how you are, what you do. Look, I don't give a fucking shit. If you are a good human being, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. That's all that should matter to anybody else.
And how many shit turds have you saved that would have probably fucking died, but you give a shit enough to even save them? Hopefully they can make a difference and come around. We do it.
You want to know what it is? Is I bring it down to the human level, man.
Yeah.
I bring it down
son, father,
to them.
Daughter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's that H word again.
You still try. You don't go to a neighborhood and be like, I'm not going to try to save this person because it's a black neighborhood.
I don't give. Oh my god! Like
never.
To me, that doesn't even fucking matter.
No,
there is no black neighborhood. There's no white neighborhood.
And that's what people don't understand is when we go to calls, it's somebody needs help. We're fucking going. If it's
exactly, there is no black neighborhood, white neighborhood, Hispanic neighborhood, bad neighborhood, good neighborhood. Now, statistically, sure, I get it. All right, I get it.
Everything needs labels now.
But you find good people everywhere.
You think when Blue was getting choked out by the 89-year-old woman and was turning blue that I didn't come help his ass just because he's a black male?
I would body slam that 89-year-old.
I choke slammed the bitch. I was like,
triple X suplex, man.
I'm trying to remember when I was getting choked out by an 89-year-old.
She might have been like 84. But
but oh my god, fellas.
Okay, we keep going off on rabbit trails. Real quick before you sign off.
Go ahead.
This Friday. I'm going to do a quick plug if you don't mind. This Friday on the What Makes Us Fire TikTok page at What Makes Us Fire, we at 6 p.m. Central Time, we are doing a live fundraiser for the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation. My co-founder, God bless her, I hate her. She has a taser. She has a dog shot collar.
Oh,
she has a TENS unit. And she has some wax. I'm pretty sure she's bringing a waxing machine or some wax strips. Yes, I put myself through pain to raise money for my brothers and sisters. Okay, so this Friday,
CGI that shit.
and of course, she just texted me saying, "I don't hate her. No, Ariel, I do not hate you.
She is my co-founder. She is my CFO. She's an amazing human being. I love her to death. She has some ways to make some to get people to donate. You know, she'll be like, "Hey, $100, and I'll tase him here."
Oh shit!
I give you 200.
Well, everybody, please make sure you check that out, and make sure you check out my man Josh at What Makes Us Fire, and please look into it. Again, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here with us.
He'll be back on.
He'll be back on. Trust me, this isn't the end. Trust me. This is who am I? Oh yeah, I'm at Real Prince Blue on Twitter, at Real Prince Blue on Instagram. Probably should be at Real Prince Blue on TikTok. Go ahead, Jay.
Did I get my name? Did I get my name right this time?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. I don't know what my social media shit is. What am I, Josh? TOG.
Tog. I just know you as Tog. I just know you as Tog.
Tog.
It's Tog.
4280 or 2223.
424, yeah. Well, he's John Steppe. I'm Prince Blue, and that's my man Jay. Thank everybody for being with us. And shout out to Colleen Odegaard, who's been helping us out with our podcast. She's gonna absolutely probably choke me out because I took everything that she told us to do, and I pretty much did the opposite. And she knew that was going to happen. So she's going to kick my ass, and that's okay. We're learning. But thanks, everybody, for being with us. Please be safe. Please check on everybody around you. Make sure your loved ones are okay, and just start a conversation. I hope that what we did here today, what we spoke about today, even through the jokes, will put something in you and put something inside you to get help or help those around you. Shut up, Josh. Pause. I know I said I should put something inside you. You get tased for money, so shut up. I'm not trying to hear it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next Wednesday.